cowgirls. All right, so this is the fun part of the night. Well, everything's kind of fun. These are questions from our audience members, some to the panel, some to me, some to specific people. And so here's one. What to the panel? What do you believe has happened within America to lead to the rise of extreme political groups like the Tea Party, to popularity of their candidates like Joe Miller? And that's from Dr. Midnight.
Frustration, plain and simple.
Fear.
Which is frustration.
Yeah, and actually, which comes out of real concerns about the state of the nation, what's happened, and I mean you can dial that back 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, if you want to. But there's a lot of things that have happened, I think, that have really hurt our economy, from NAFTA and President Clinton to a couple of unfunded wars. To, I mean, you name what happened to the Wall Street.
I was frustrated, and I felt a tremendous amount of fear for this country, and I still do, during two unfunded, unjust wars. And I'm like, I'm not going crazy talking about taking us back to, the good old days where you could own a couple black folks and women knew their place. I mean, I don't have that. And that's what I'm seeing with these people. I mean, they're wearing these white pointy burqas down south.
They're also, people aren't voting. And so when people don't even bother to go to the polls and vote, they feel even more disenfranchised. Even though a part of that is their own problem, their own fault, they're not participating in government. They're not participating in Rotary, in Elks, in the Anchorage Women's Club, looking at things locally.
Yeah, because they're not 60.
But people 60 isn't who participated in those organizations a long time ago. It was all kinds of people.
Sure.
PTAs. People don't belong to organizations and talk to their neighbors. They don't talk to their neighbors, period.
They're on Facebook now, and it tells them to vote.
But still, I mean you see a lot of apathy out there when it comes to civic involvement. And remember, 60 is the new 40, so watch it.
Well, I think
somebody hitting 50 soon would say that.
I think they really would like to accomplish reform. They don't like the way things are going, and they think they maybe have a chance to deliver a message to Washington. I think there's some of that going on. They just don't like the way things are going, and they say anything other than this, they've got to get the message to straighten up.
Well,
this has happened before.
You sat across from Joe Miller in the APRN station, and you interviewed him for an hour.
I did.
What was he doing while you're interviewing him?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. He came in toting a computer, PC. We have wireless in there,
right.
So
a laptop.
So he could be on the internet or whatever, and
during the interview?
Sat down. Yeah, he sat down, said hi, and set this computer down, opened it up, booted up, and he was constantly working on it the whole time we were talking. And when I would ask him a question, his eyes would go down to the computer, and
and the answer would magically
the answer would come up.
Answers?
I have no idea what was on the computer screen. I have no idea. But I did feel a lot often that the answer was not that related to the question. Other people have experienced this in interviewing him.
Really, that I'm not going to answer your questions. I'm just going to talk to the American people. Nice. Bonnie, what values does Lisa have that have won your vote?
I've known Lisa for a very long time.
That's not a value.
I'm getting there. I'm not as quick as you. I've known Lisa for a long time, and that also gives me time to think. Her values, in many respects, are like my values. She values living in Alaska. She values being a mother. She's not a grandmother. I am. So her values of principle, broad principle, I'm not zeroing in on this issue or that issue. I think she's a very honest person. I like to think of myself as being honest, sometimes too honest. I think the American dream, working hard and succeeding, those kinds of values.
What has she done that she worked hard at?
Well, she worked hard when she was in the legislature. She reaches across party lines.
She used to. You're right, she did when she was in the Alaska legislature. Now she's 95% with Mitch McConnell.
I think that was because she was a woman trying to work her way up in the party structure.
That is the most ridiculous. I mean, because she's a woman and she has to work her way up, so she's got to suck up and vote the way they want her to. I mean, why wouldn't you just suck up? Because to me, that's, I don't know. I just find that, because I, like you, I believe that we're both pro-choice.
You and I are, yes.
That's a value.
Yes.
And Lisa Murkowski has voted against that continually.
That is wrong.
She has voted
Lisa
against
is-
Sotomayor, she's voted against Keegan, and she's voted
You said
against
pro-choice,
Sebelius.
and now you're talking something else.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the most important thing you can do as a senator, I think, that outlasts you, is voting for a Supreme Court justice.
Okay.
She voted for 2 Supreme Court justices that voted against us as Exxon survivors. Then she voted against 2 women, qualified, Elena Kagan and Sotomayor, for Supreme Court because she said that they were pro-choice. And that was a problem for her. And then she voted against Sebelius for Health and Human Services Director because she was pro-choice. Now those,
I think
Lisa has
the
run to
reason
the
she
right.
voted against them was a little broader than the issue of choice.
That was the issue she gave.
I think
the
that
reason
was
she gave.
maybe one of the issues, or that was an issue on along in a big
but that's
paragraph.
a value. I mean, we're both
Okay.
We're both Alaskan women.
Lisa is a believer in Roe versus Wade. Lisa is not a believer in public funding. So she's, again, a moderate. Being a moderate means you sit in the middle and you have this side hit at you and you have this side hit at you.
A moderate is if you voted 50% with this side and 50% with this side. She has voted 95% of the time with Mitch McConnell. So that's not moderate.
And she voted 80% with Ted Stevens.
Who's in her party?
Of course.
Right, so
So I don't hear you saying bad Ted Stevens.
Ted Stevens was more moderate than Lisa Murkowski.
Yes.
Absolutely, he was.
Okay, he was. I agree.
Vince, is it hard to look that good?
I work at it. It's all in the diet and exercise, obviously.
And the hair, don't forget.
It wasn't my question. Because I know how hard you work. What kind of, Steve, maybe you can hit this one. What kind of circus will the vote count be? Van Flein and the crazies will challenge every write-in, voters disenfranchised.
Oh boy, you're right.
It is. Listen, if you want to go to watch the count,
It'll
I
be
think,
in Juneau. It won't be here.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be really insane to go watch. I think the only way you'd get attention in that room is if you were, playing "Happy Birthday" on your armpit.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we don't know what we're going to do on election night.
I think we're
Well,
not.
we do. Yes,
well-
we do in many respects.
But
Right,
we
Scott
don't, as
McAdams is
news
gonna
media,
win
I'm
and
saying,
end the
we-
drama.
we don't know what we're going to be doing that night at all.
Well, remember votes are they're not going to count the write-ins,
Right.
but they're going
Unless.
they're not going to count the write-ins at all unless
Right.
they are higher than or within 0.5%. But they will say there are X number of write-ins. Now that's going to mean Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, all the crazies that people always write in, as well as
Laura
Lisa.
Mulchowski.
The Division of Elections, I understand. The Division of Elections, I'm told, has been researching the names that would be similar that could be used to confuse and whatnot, to challenge the Division of Elections. Because, of course, you cannot be a legitimate write-in vote unless you are a registered voter within the state of Alaska.
Right, and there's a Lisa Mulchalski that has been. I mean,
I don't know
there's several.
whether that-
There are several.
Okay.
And Robin Taylor had 10% of the votes spelled wrong, 0 challenges, and still had a tremendous amount, several thousand thrown out.
Right.
With no challenges. There were no lawyers there going, that doesn't count.
Oh, yeah, there were lawyers there.
People were not challenging the way that it's going to be now. And so I
I think the nastiness and the ugliness and the small-mindedness of the Thomas Van Fleins and Joe Millers were not there then.
It's nice to see certain things there's consensus on.
You know
Yes,
what? There
there
really
is.
is. There really is.
Yeah.
Thomas Van Flein. We should just export him as soon as
Yeah,
possible. So, has anyone warned Kathleen Miller about the party planner?
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, it's a little. She's a little political predator that's spent some time with the mayor, with Meade Treadwell, and now with Joe Miller. She's a real treat. Lisa complains about Joe Miller's outside money, but Lisa received millions from K Street lobbyists. Aren't they outside as well? Who wants to hit that? There's a tremendous amount of outside money coming into both Lisa's campaign, also, and had been previously, and Joe Miller's. Scott McAdams has raised a lot of money locally. Thousands, you know, and he's
from
outrose
money from outside
and
as well.
he's
Not as much, I agree.
not even close in the
But
percentages.
let's
but-
turn
Actually,
around.
I think
Let's-
90% of Scott's money has come from inside the state, I believe.
Let's turn a different spin on that for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, outside money comes into the state of Alaska. Outside money helps the Alaska economy. I have said for years, what we need in Alaska is another election and bring the money from outside. Here, Tony Knowles' campaign and Lisa Murkowski's campaign spent millions of dollars from outside. And we in Alaska, from the post office to the media to the printers, all benefited from it.
It is good for the media business.
For the economy, yeah.
Yes, for the economy, for the people who are working men and women. Very good.
Wow.
We agree.
I'm sorry, my third eye has a headache. Lisa M. has voted lockstep with Republican Party right wing without exception. Miller could not vote any further to the right than she already has. I will take that one. I agree. I don't think they'd vote any differently going to Washington. When are you going to be on Dancing with the Stars?
You?
I'm too short, so it's not me.
I waited till I was in my 20s to have a child. I don't think I'm eligible. What? I did. I'm not a teenage unwed mother. To Vince Beltrami, I see where employees are taking advantage of the poor economy. Can the union survive?
Employees are taking advantage.
Employers are taking
Employers.
advantage of the poor economy.
Yeah, well,
You got 30 seconds.
So-
The unions are going to survive.
yeah. I mean, right now, actually, you're seeing there's a class kind of warfare going on, you know, with this economy and the way things have gone. And I mean, that's why we're supporting candidates like Scott McAdams who identify with the working man. And yeah, Lisa,
And
I like
women.
Lisa and women. And I like Lisa as a person, but unfortunately, again, she's lined up with the corporate interests and with her party more and more polarized in the past, so that, and the people that are supporting her, when you look at it, I mean, is all the people that are fighting to outsource offshore and hurt the working men and women in this country.
Right.
So, to me, you know, we have to support candidates who put the working folks in this country ahead of the corporate interests in this country.
Well, I don't have a problem with that. Thank you. This has been a fun panel. I think we're going to go duke it out after this. It's going to be fun. All right, you're welcome to come down any Thursday night here to the Taproot at 3300 Spenard and join us, be part of our live audience at 5:30 p.m. And we'll be back with more Up North next week.